So I've made it no secret that I've recently picked up a VR system and I've been playing it on my computer and I've really enjoyed it. But it's not to say that there are no weaknesses to the VR system. And one of those that I've kind of seen played over and over in several games is the ability for swordplay. Because VR allows your character to be completely enabled with all your physical attributes, it usually just ends up with you swinging wildly and killing everything within a reachable touch. But this game right here has actually found a way to combat that issue. I personally probably couldn't think of a better name for this game than Until You Fall. The name insists on what you're doing in the game is you're basically sword fighting until you fall. If I was trying to describe this game with as few words as possible, I would say it's a rhythmic fighting game. And that means that the game is based off of attacks and counterattacks and blocking. Now, the AI has a pretty sophisticated blocking ability, but they tend to strike, and the way that they strike, it shows in the game that it's predictable and that you need to move in that predictable fashion in order to counterattack them. On face value, this may seem very dull, but honestly, I only bought this game because it was on sale and I heard it recommended on another YouTube video. Now, I have played it since it was on sale, and I have to say, I'm pretty enthralled into this game, and I can see what they're trying to do. And the overall goal here seems to be to make a multiplayer sword fighting game that is not unplayably janky. And the end result feeling that this game induces in me as a personal feeling would be overall, I feel like this game represents the perfect VR samurai simulator. Of course, VR itself is very immersive, but I think one of the most overlooked factors in a game's immersiveness is in the music itself of the game. Check out these tracks right here. Now, if these tracks don't make you want to dance the dance of steel, I'm not sure what will. On a real note, what I'm trying to say is that this music has really quite struck a nerve with me that I haven't really had struck since Doom 2016. But the difference in vibes between both of these games couldn't be more stark. Doom 2016 is meant to make you feel like the utmost nightmare of demons. You are the wrecker of the hell world. Whereas this game is meant to make you feel like you're inevitably marching to your death. And I guess really that in itself would be the whole crux of my argument of this being a samurai simulator, is that you are playing to win, but in doing so, you will inevitably die, or, as they say, until you fall. Now that I've hailed quite a bit of praise in this game, I want to go over the main flaw of this game before I jump right back into sycopanting for it, and that is that this is an early access game. That being said, the game appears to be fairly short, as well as the multiplayer aspect not even being involved in this current version of the game yet. Without the multiplayer option there to play, it kind of does make me worried that this might be too good to be true to actually be a good multiplayer game. I'd really like to test and see how well this can go on that spectrum, because when I'm playing with these AIs, I find myself really wanting to yell out dramatic, trash talking to them on a level that I have really not really cared about yelling at an AI before. And I hope that this can be carried over to the multiplayer aspect and being just as fun. I want to go back and talk about what I just said right there, actually, because the reason why I wanted to yell things out but didn't is because I have to play this game while my kids are asleep. And this game is definitely not very community friendly, I should say. I have never been more terrified that I'm going to do some sort of nasty swing on one of my animals or one of my kids while playing any game besides this one, because this game truly is incredibly immersive. And with the AI that won't stop until you fall, it really is truly something that I find myself sometimes swinging wildly, or maybe with more calculations. But the thing is I'm swinging relatively hard. And this immediately lends itself into another possible weakness for some people out there. If you play games to relax and settle down, enjoy yourself, cool off, this is not that game. Because as it turns out, wildly immersive sword fighting games where the game continues until you fall, turns out leaves you kind of clamoring for a little bit more violence at the end of it. Although I am mildly frightened that the multiplayer aspect of this game won't live up to the single player aspect, it's not my belief that it's going to happen. I actually believe that this will probably more immersive as the multiplayer aspect rolls out. In this game, the AIs will try to surround you, but if you have some buddies, calling out back to back dramatically can be a very possible thing. But really, until a multiplayer version of this game is released, all I can do is fantasize of what could be, or maybe what might be. So if there's anything to take away from this video, it's the feeling. And that feeling kind of goes something like this. In every match, there's a turning point. When your parrying blows start to be blows taking to you, you start seeing the red marks across your screen. You try to reel back and forth to try and escape the surroundings that you're being ensued upon. And as you're fighting ferociously, you want to scream out to the gods of the underworld, because if you perish, they're the next ones that must deal with you. Tired and panting, trying to catch up with your breath. Sweat drips down into your eyes. You pretend it's blood, because Valhalla calls. This is it. This is the moment where you're going to die. But not like a punk. You're going to take as many of them down with you as you can. But then it happens. The final blow. The one that allows life to leave your body. A noble warrior gave you a noble death. But you smile, because you did it. You fought until you fall.